Guys, I wanted to come and give you an official tour of our Weaver Hollow homestead, off-grid homestead at that. So I want to show you around our garden, show you some of the things that we got growing, and give you an update on our baby chicks we got from Tractor Supply last spring. So we redesigned our garden a couple weeks ago, and we dug up all of the kale and Swiss chard and things that we had growing in here because the caterpillars and stuff were getting to them, and we got some pretty nice salads and a real decent harvest of kale and Swiss chard and radishes and stuff out of that garden, but it was just getting eat up by the bugs. So we decided to dig it up and start all over again and try our best to get a second harvest before or a second fall harvest actually before winter came in fully. So we originally only had 2 ditches in the first bed that we did, but this one has 3, and that allows for drainage. We have a pond up at the top that when it rains it fills up, and Daniel dug a ditch all the way from the pond down here to the garden, so the garden is practically self-watering. And then we have our little bath area that we use, and once we let the water out, it comes down and waters the garden also. So we really don't have a lot of watering to do with this garden because the soil it holds water really good and it stays moist for the most part. But here is the first bed that I'm going to show you. Well, first I'm going to give you a look at how the garden looks now. Let's see. Okay, we have 3 rows. Okay, and then we have this area here that's got some good stuff in it. So let's go and show you that good stuff. So we're going to start on this side first. In this bed we have okra, and we got these okra plants from a little nursery in Hohenwald. I cannot remember the name right now, but I will find it and link it to the video. But these are our okra plants that we got from there, and we paid $1 for each pot, and each pot had like 5 or 6 little okra plants in it. So I thought that was a steal. And over here we planted our seeds from Tractor Supply, and so here we have white pumpkins and mini orange pumpkins, and then we have our squash in this area. So we have 3 little squash plants, and then we have our watermelon that are planted here, and then there's carrots in that area. I don't know if you can see the little sprigs or not coming up, but there's carrots there. And in this bed, the only thing that's planted is the cantaloupe and marigolds. And we have a few little spinach plants in here that I'm hoping will do something because it's in the shade most of the day and it's really cool down here by the bottom. And then we have cabbage and lettuce in these beds here. And so we're going to show you the other side. So, so in this bed we have our peppers and kale that needs to be pulled, some edible flowers, and we have our German pink tomatoes and purple Cherokee tomatoes. More kale that needs to be picked. Like, that's what our kale looked like. And we were still eating off of this kale, but then this week, like, this kale was looking good. And since it's rained and all that stuff, this is what it looks like now. So we're going to pull that up and give it to the chickens. We have a little bit of lamb's ear here. And I want to show you my peppers. Aren't they gorgeous? Can't wait to pick those. Beets, more peppers, more peppers. I've got onions, hollyhocks that I can't wait to bloom, and more peppers. Excuse me. In this bed here, we have onions in one row, and then potatoes that need to be pulled up, and more potatoes and weeds that need to be pulled up. And here is our little experimental patch of papayas. We bought a papaya, and it had so many seeds in it. And so we thought, what would happen if we planted the seeds? And I wasn't expecting them to grow, but they grew. And it was like all of them grew. And so we ended up, like that whole area there was full of papaya plants. So we ended up having to thin them out. And that's what we're left with. So if anybody has any advice on how to keep my papaya plants alive during the cold weather, let me know. Here is my little cut flower patch that I use to make my beautiful bouquets for the house. I love the zinnias and marigolds and the sunflowers. I think they are absolutely gorgeous. Still got some sunflowers that are getting ready to do their thing and open up, but that one right there, that pretty orange one, is really pretty. And then that one there. And see, here is all of my beautiful little zinnias and their beautiful colors. I had to put the cattle panel up, excuse me, because my chickens were starting to dust bathe. I don't know if you can see the wooden things in there, but I put the beams in there to keep the chickens out. And then when I put the cattle panel up, I put it up upside down, so they were still able to get through this big part. And then my husband brought it to my attention that I had it upside down. And see, these little squares are supposed to go on the bottom. So yeah, I did that. So that was my garden. So here is my chickens, my beautiful black Australorp hens. We started out with 10 of these girls, and now we're down to 9. One of the hens, we knew she was a lot slower, and she just seemed like she was not as developed, or something wasn't right with her. I don't think she could see out of one of her eyes. It just looked like she was going around in a circle. So she survived for maybe 2 weeks, and then it was not good. She passed. So now we have 9 chickens, and these girls are resilient. They've done wonderfully. They've gotten so big. It seems like they grew overnight almost. And they like to scratch. And this is what they do most of the day. They get bread and corn and greens, kale, chard from the garden. They get lots of bugs, lots of stuff out of the ground. This is the stuff that we feed them. Is this Do More organic grower crumble. We get that from Tractor Supply. I think it's like $12 a bag. Here's the Weaver Hollow kids.
Hi.
These are my big chicken helpers. They help move chickens and feed chickens and keep chickens out of the garden so they don't eat our food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Garden.
So, and I didn't show you guys the chicken hut exclusively, but this is their little home. And we used to put them up in that little area at night, but here lately they've just kind of been chilling in here since Dad put the tarps up. They don't even go in there anymore. They just roost on that thing all night, and then they get up and we let them out, and that's that. We haven't seen many predators around here that would concern me. you know, when it comes to the chickens. We did have a king snake get in our chicken coop, but it didn't seem to faze them. They just like got up on the roost and stood there. So my husband knew something was up because they were all up on the roost and nobody would come out of the coop. So, but yeah, these girls are 14 weeks. We got them back in the spring. They should be laying maybe around the end of September. So I'm excited to get those good organic eggs and not to have to buy eggs and pay $3 to $4 for a dozen or dozen and a half of eggs. But this is what my girls do. We have this big mound that we're gonna eventually knock that over. So we're just gonna let them have at it and get all the stuff and the yummy grubby worms and creepy crawly bugs out of it for us. We have ticks really bad, and that's one thing that I wanted the chickens for, was to eat the ticks. We should probably get some guineas too. I've heard that they're good at eating the ticks. But yep, this is our chicken setup and our garden setup and our little off-grid setup. Yes. And I hope that you guys enjoy the little mini tour that I just gave you. And I hope to be making more videos about our homestead and what we're doing here. And I hope you guys have a wonderfully blessed rest of the day. Bye. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and blessings from Unconventional 4 in Weaver Hollow.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.